Okay. Hey, good morning. My name's Jerry DeVita, and I'm here with Don Kelly. Hi, Don Kelly.
Hi, Jerry.
So we're on our way to Texas A&M at College Station to the Cushing Library because Don Kelly has a great collection that the Cushing Library has accepted years ago, and so we're going to have a conversation on our way to the Cushing because Don is bringing 14 boxes to add to his collection. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to ask Don Kelly, who is Don Kelly, and he's going to tell us who Don Kelly is, and then he's going to tell us about his great collection at the Cushing. Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Jerry. And thank you for having me on and getting this trip together and all your encouragement and support with the collection. I'm an 83-year-old guy. In fact, today is my 83rd birthday.
Yay!
That's the reason for the trip to Texas A&M and the Cushing Archives. And I've worked as a public servant in my professional life. I've been retired 23 years. My professional life was throughout the state of Texas, but mostly 30-year stint in Beaumont, Port Arthur, Orange area, the Golden Triangle as it is known. And I've always had an interest in books, and I've always been an openly gay man. And I started collecting in retirement gay literature, books, and just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger that I needed to do something with it. And so I intended to sell it because I had put a lot of investment in it, personal investment in it. And I put an ad in the what used to be called the Harvard Gay and Lesbian Review. It's now just called the Gay and Lesbian Review. A full-page ad to see if there was anyone that was interested in purchasing what I had collected. And there wasn't much of a response. There was a couple people inquired. One private collector from New York who was not gay himself, but just saw that it was a good investment to make because it was high quality material and rare editions. And another school had called, the Ransom Archives at the University of Texas, but they just wanted certain items from the collection, and I wanted to dispose of it all rather than cherry pick it with individual buyers. Also had a wonderful offer from the University of South Florida, which unbeknownst to me has quite a gay LGBT component in their educational system there, and they were interested in it. And then I also got an invite from Texas A&M University to come up and talk to the faculty there. Their interest was that universities are ranked as to how gay-friendly they are, and A&M, out of the top 100 universities in the United States, was ranked 99th as far as being gay-friendly. So they thought maybe this collection would enhance their position on the charts. Make a long story short, it has in a great way. It's a well-known collection. In fact, it's a world-class collection, and it's just been a real joy in my life. The initial volumes went to A&M in 2017. They had a wonderful exhibit. There is a catalog that is available from Texas A&M concerning the exhibit, and I've added to the collection from my personal finances for the last number of years. Probably probably more than I needed to afford, but to me it's a living legacy. And Texas A&M has just been so kind to me as they're honoring me today on my birthday. It's just been a great joy and very fulfilling. And through the collection, I have met many gay activists nationwide, many gay authors nationwide, not necessarily meeting them in person, but online. Many book dealers from all over the world that deal in this material. And in Houston, I've been really accepted into the local community of historians. And I might add that Houston has probably a wonderful number of organizations. The standout one is J.D. Doyle's online LBGT history collection, which is just remarkable. I do not know of any city in the world that is thorough as J.D. has done. There also is wonderful Gulf Coast LBGT archives, and their hope is to build a building someday to house drag apparel, posters, any kind of memorabilia concerning the LBG community. Right now it is warehoused, but the dream of that organization is to someday have their own physical building. Currently they have an office at the Montrose Center, which is a number of gay organizations collectively have offices there. It's a great building on that. So that's where I'm at. We're going up. We're bringing 14 more boxes to add. And the collection probably now is about 37,000 items. What makes it unique in the United States and probably in the world is that the breadth of the collection. It takes in zines and comic books and all sorts of literature, periodicals, or as the librarians call serials. There are a lot of libraries which have, and probably the most notable one is the Ransom Center at the University of Texas, and they have the private papers of a lot of gay authors, but they do not have the breadth of material that the collection at A&M has. We have books in all languages from all over the world, and I have something that probably is unusual in this type of collection. I have what I personally call homophobic literature, just to show about how nasty gay people have been treated over the years and still are being treated as we read the headlines of the daily paper. And so these are important. The collection also has attracted, sort of as a magnet, other people's collections as well. They have one of the top sexual collections from Phyllis Fry. Phyllis was called the godmother of transsexuals by the New York Times, and all of her personal papers and the personal papers of her friends, other transsexuals, are at the Texas A&M Library as well. So it's a legacy that I'm fulfilling at my stage of life, and I hope to be doing it as long as I have a penny in the purse and time on this earth. It's been a great joy.
Well, good. All right. So one of the things that you've told me about, and actually we went and visited, people now are coming to do research at the collection. And actually, why don't you, the collection has a very specific name. Why don't you tell us the name, and then talk about the researchers that now are starting to come to A&M and the Cushing to do their research.
Thank you, Jerry. Yes, it's called the Don Kelly Research Collection. If you Google gay Don Kelly, there's a number of articles explaining what it is in some detail. The university started a Don Kelly Fellowship, which they've paid for about 5 years prior to COVID. Since that time, a number of my friends at their own initiative, have gathered together and have made a sizable contribution that this is now be privately funded through the university. The university, it's a competitive. They will invite scholars from other universities to come in and do a research project on something in the collection, have it published, and there have probably been 5 or 6 scholars that have gone through that have distinguished themselves since they've touched base with Texas A&M, and I keep up with all of them and encourage them and applaud their scholarship in LBGT studies.
Well, good. So today is your 83rd birthday.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Thank you.
We're going to the Cushing, and part of the Cushing staff will be there, and we will celebrate Don's birthday. So I do have a question about your collecting, and if you can recall, do you remember the very first signed book, fiction book that you got that sort of started it all?
Well, what started was a book by Anthony Slide, and he has a Wikipedia page. In fact, in his Wikipedia page, he mentions the collection itself, and he said the 50 great unknown gay novels, and I started collecting all 50 of those. Many of them were signed. They were all first editions, and I collected all 50 of those.
Wow.
And they're all in the collection, and then it just kept branching off into other areas apart from what I would call serious literature, rare book literature, into magazines and periodicals, zines, comic books, programs of all types, playbills, thanks to Jerry. Jerry has donated a number of wonderful, sizable collection of his playbills to it, and I've since built upon that as well. These would be plays that were written by gay playwrights or would have a gay theme to them.
So if somebody wanted to start a collection or just wanted to add to their collection of books or whatever, gay signed books, what would you suggest the first thing that somebody would go to find out where you could buy these sorts of items?
Well, we have wonderful dealers and book shows. Let me say something about the signatures of books. It used to be that if there was an inscription in the book, it really would detract from the value.
Right.
But now it actually enhances the value because it says something about the relationship of the author to the individual. It also it precludes the fact that it would be counterfeited in some way. One signature would be easy to counterfeit.
Right.
A full inscription would not be. So many of the books that I've collected are not only signed, but they're inscribed, and many of them are inscribed not only by a famous author, but to a famous individual, another gay person. And I label those gay associations, and there's many such things. There are many gay partners that might have jointly signed the book, and those would be attractive to me. And there's a lot of stories just in the inscriptions in this particular collection.
Well, good. So, and basically what I've done, if I've been looking for something specific, you just start with the Google, and then you sort of just start picking what all the resources that they come up with. And there are a lot of specialty book dealers that deal in what they call collectibles, and signed books would be under the collectible section. And what I've done here in town, living in Houston, which is a great metropolitan city, when people have come to town, an example, I think I told you this, when Michael Cunningham came to town a couple of years back, He's the guy that wrote The Hours and is a well-known gay author. I had gotten several of his first editions when I had gone to New York at the Strand Bookstore, and then brought them and had him sign and inscribe those when he came to town. So that's another thing that you can do is look to see if someone's coming to a town near you or to the town you live in, and collect their books and then get them to sign them. And it's a great way to build your collection because you have access to the author, and that's how I sort of started in on my collection. So, all right. So now the collection. When did the collection? Oh, I know. Tell us about the collection. Where was the collection before A&M? Because I think this is a very fascinating story. So where was the collection before A&M took it over? And then when A&M said, yes, we're doing it, talk a little bit about A&M coming to pick it up. Because I think this is a great story.
Well, it was in my apartment. It was in the cupboards. It was in, I do not cook in the kitchen. So everything in my kitchen was filled with books. There were bookcases surrounding the whole apartment, and on the floor they were stacked to the ceiling. Outsmart Magazine, which is a Houston LBGT publication, took a wonderful picture of me sitting amidst all these books in my apartment. It took a very large Texas A&M van to take them away, and I think they had about 5 or 6 people come to make the initial pickup.
So now, did they pick everything up at one time, or they had to?
No, they picked them up at one time.
Oh, okay.
This is an unusual situation that we're actually bringing the books to them.
Right.
They have been very good over the years of making frequent visits as I built the collection up to actually make the trip and pick them up.
So talk a little bit about how you're adding to the collection and the sort of material that you're searching for, because you obviously do that on your computer, and how you find something and then how it eventually will get to the Cushing. So talk about that.
Yeah, well, I know book dealers that carry the wonderful merchandise. Bolarian Books in San Francisco is world famous for it. Weekly they publish a listing of books that are available. These would be programs and memorabilia type of items. The European literature, more pricey literature is sold by David Deese, D-I-E-S-S, who runs a book store called Elysium Press. It's in New Hampshire. I deal with a gentleman in Australia who deals exclusively. The one website, the overriding website, is called Bookfinders on your computer, and they have all what books are listed on eBay, on Amazon, every book dealer. It's an umbrella website, so that'd be one I would recommend. Now, for the rarity of items, I would go to the World Catalog, OCLC, and you can see how many copies of each item is in all the libraries in the world. Wow. So you can see the rarity of the book. So naturally, if there's a item that's maybe only in 1 or 2 libraries, you want to get that, and that'd be my the way I would direct my additional purchases to see how rare the book is.
So then you'll purchase new material.
Yes.
And it's very assorted.
Yes.
And then they actually ship that to your apartment.
Yes, and I would scan the cover of each of these items, and it's on a website called Library Thing, which is a few years ago was bought by Amazon. I would describe it as sort of a social media site for book lovers. So my entire library, all 36,000 items, are on this site, and they're annotated, whether they're signed and who they're signed by, and any additional information about the book itself. This site allows that to be put on there. I used that site library thing also as a template for the purchase of foreign materials, because unfortunately I'm not a polymath language-wise, and I could see items that were important, particularly from the European authors, particularly Germany, where there was the initial impetus on homosexuality study as we know it today came from.
Well, that's great. So then the 14 boxes that we're taking to the Cushing today is the stuff you've collected for how many months?
I think we were here 6 months ago.
About that time frame.
6 to 9 months ago.
Yeah, we brought up about 8 boxes or so.
Yeah, we brought up about 8 boxes.
So Don is regularly searching the world,
yes,
for material,
yes,
assorted material,
yes,
to add to his collection. So it is, it's not one of these collections, thanks to Don, that's just been brought to the Cushing and it's there. So I guess the best way I would describe it, it's like an ongoing, almost living collection that you're adding to really every day.
It's a living legacy, and A&M is kind enough for me to consult with me for any purchases that they make to the collection on this. And I might add that Jerry, not to embarrass you, but you made a generous financial contribution to allow me to make additional purchases to the collection.
Yeah, I think from the time I heard about the collection, I was so intrigued. And another friend of ours, mutual friend, introduced me to Don one night when we all got together, and Don talked about his collection, and I don't think I quite grasped what it was, but what Don has is a great catalog that he and the Cushing have produced about the collection. And so not too long after that, I was at my house reading, and then I thought, I'm going to pick up the catalog for the collection, and picked it up and just couldn't put it down. I was just stunned. I mean, I was like, this is everything I'm interested in: gay fiction, gay science fiction, the periodicals, and the scope and the quantity just sort of blew me away. I was thrilled. I was thrilled that I got to meet Don, and so we started getting together regularly, and it's just been really, for me, a terrific friendship, and just so happy that I got to meet Don. And then so then after that first meeting that night, we arranged, Don, myself, and Mark, and Ed, another friend, to come to the Cushing. We had certain things that we wanted to look at. Mark wanted to look at Don's collection of Paul Cadmus material, which was great, and we all know about Paul Cadmus, the artist, and love Paul Cadmus, the artist. I love Paul Cadmus, and always have, and got to see the material you had and other stuff, and we got to visit, you go to the basement of the Cushing, and there's these great metal cases, and they go on and on and on, and I just stood in front of the cases that had the science fiction stuff, and you would just, whoever you pulled, it would be Tennessee Williams or I can't remember her name, the woman that wrote The Front Runner, and
Patricia Nell Warren.
Yeah, Patricia Warren, and just on and on and on and on, and I was just thrilled to be able to see the collection up front and just appreciate everything great that Don has done. Shall we sing happy birthday to Don?
Yes.
Once everybody has their treats.
Thank you. I'll puff.
Thanks.
Should we sing
Wow.
embarrass him or what?
Yeah, we should embarrass him.
There we go. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.